Broncos country, what's going on? Hope y'all are having a fantastic day. Hope you're having a great Christmas Eve to all who celebrate as well. But let's go ahead and get into what I got planned for us today. And it's my first David Talks Broncos mock draft for the 2025 season. This is going to be a lot of fun. Can we finally get a tight end with a heartbeat? Can we finally get a running back that can make somebody miss? We'll have to find out. But I'll be coming out doing a lot of draft content as the season wraps up and we get into draft season. So y'all be sure to smash that like, subscribe. We're on our way to 2,100 subscribers, and let me know in the comments who are some of the draft targets that you got for the Broncos. But let's go ahead and get into it. If you haven't used the NFL mock draft database simulator, go and do it. Just Google it, comes up. But I got the settings on fast. So I think we're picking 22 right here in the first round. Let's go ahead and get started. You can see all the players that I want are all coming off the board. And Ashton Genty goes right before us, or right before our pick, to the Houston Texans. That hurts. I doubt he goes that late in the draft. But hey, what's great? We got the ability to make some decisions here. We got a couple tight ends that I think are really, really good. Tyler Warren, he's my top tight end. And then Colston Loveland, I think he's very good too. But then we also have a trade offer from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers where, hey, if we trade back 28 spots, we can, 28 spots, we can get a few more picks. But I don't think that's worth it, guys, right now. Like, forget that. Although Derek Harmon would be an absolute beast in the middle and I think would really help. If we'll probably sign DJ Jones to a short-term deal. You guys know we need a tight end, man. We need a tight end so bad. So we're gonna draft him and move on. Tyler Warren, stud tight end combined with some Taysom Hill skills. I think in real life we might have to trade up for him. I think he could be taken around where Brock Bowers was taken, round pick 13. So we'll have to see. So now it is our second round pick. Really interesting. We didn't get any trade offers. That's frustrating, but there are a handful of players that we could go after and take. Trey Harris, he is pretty interesting to me. Some people think he's A.J. Brown, but then again, we've seen some other wide receivers from Ole Miss kind of bust, but DK Metcalf comes from there as well. I'd like to think that Trey Harris is a little bit better. Big-bodied, has speed, obviously very productive at Ole Miss. If we didn't go tight end in the first round, Harold Fannin Jr. would have been fun. But let's take a look at some of the other wide receivers available. A guy that I really do like is Elic Ayomanor. Probably pronouncing his name incorrectly, but he's another really big body, speedy wide receiver from Stanford. So I feel like some people are sleeping on him. But of course, I was in attendance last year when the Stanford Cardinal came back on my Colorado Buffaloes, and Ayomanor had a lot to do with that. So I think that he would be a fantastic player. Obviously, very, very smart, which is really crucial to pick up a kind of a complex system, that Sean Payton has in the NFL. So he's a target that I'm looking at. Also, at the running back position, Caleb Johnson, right now, he's my running back too, and I think that he could be really, really good. I actually do like Travion Henderson a little bit more than Quinshon Judkins, and honestly, Ollie Gordon, I don't know if I would put him that high. I think I would still put a handful of these guys above Ollie Gordon. So we'll have to see how this shakes out, but I think I'm going to go with, right now, Elic Ayomanor as my wide receiver one. Y'all let me know. Would you have rather had Trey Harris? Y'all let me know. Oh, we got a trade with the Chargers. We got an offer to get a few more picks for just moving down 2 slots, but that's a division rival. I don't know if you do that. And then the Carolina Panthers offering just a terrible trade. I don't care about a 3rd-round pick next year. We can't do that. But this would be interesting, but let's see who else is on the board here. Savion Williams is another wide receiver that I think could add a lot of just juice to this offense. Bigger guy that can be kind of used all over the place. But let's talk about running back. I feel like that's where we really need to go here. Quinshon Judkins, I feel like, is really, really solid. It's a bummer that Travion Henderson went a little bit before because I was hoping that he would have fallen to our 84th pick here in the third round, but that's not the case. So do you go with Quinshon Judkins over somebody like Devin Neal or another? Let's see who else we got just overall. Got some edge players. Kyle Kennard from South Carolina had a really, really good year. Or we could double down again on wide receiver. But my hope is that we sign a wide receiver in free agency as well. I don't know if I would go back to the well this quickly. I think that, hey, if there's a year to draft multiple running backs, it's probably this one. Let's go ahead and get Judkins and then kind of see where we end up going after that. All right. So we got a 4th round pick. The Saints want to trade back for a 6th round pick next year. I'm interested in that. Not really interested in that pick from the Jags. Oh, but I could pick up a 2nd pick here in the 5th round for just moving back 4 spots. I'm interested in doing that with Green Bay. Let's see who else is on the list here. Oh yeah, some really good players here. And yeah, when we're looking at the interior line, I think that's definitely a position of need. We're looking at inside linebacker as well. Somebody like Jay Higgins, maybe if I go with that trade, you can get him, or somebody like Jeffrey Bassa. I think I'm going to do that. Be nice to get an extra pick here. Bears want to trade back or trade up. The Jets, no thank you. The Falcons, maybe in another world we do that trade, but not really feeling these trade offers. Let's make some picks here. Troy Horton's an interesting one, but again, I just don't know if I want to go back to wide receiver yet. Would be nice to fill some guys on the interior defensive line because, again, some of our guys are getting a little bit older. Having another offensive tackle that we could have behind Garrett Bowles would be really, really helpful. And then there's some really good cornerbacks still available, along with you can never have too many edge rushers. But I think right now I'm going to go with Jay Higgins, linebacker out of Iowa. I really do like him. Really productive player. Yes, please. And I just had to avoid Chris Paul because I just can't, I don't like Chris Paul. So can't draft a guy named Chris Paul. That's how I feel about it. All right, pick 162. Let's see where we go from here. Keon Sabb's available. Oh, man, a lot of good players. Howard Cross on the defensive line. Let's see. Is this a time where we double down on tight end? Very well could be. Jake Beringstool could help. Eli Stowers, I think, is really quality as well. But let's take a look at running back. Yeah, I got to go back to the running back well. Give me Cameron Skattebo. He's one of my favorite players in college this year. Criminally underrated. I think finished actually 5th in the Heisman voting. He is a fantastic running back, and I think we would have 3 running backs we'd feel really good about between Judkins, Skattebo, and Estime. Can just a couple of those guys end up being really good for us? We'll have to see. Now, this is where things get interesting. Do you want to go to the defensive line? Do you want to go cornerback? Will Lee has great size. I believe he's like another 6'2", 6'3" corner. I would be pumped to have another corner that we can have. Again, you can never have too many outside corners with size and length, which is really, really nice. And I honestly think that's where I'm going to go with this. So Give me Willie the third from Texas A&M. Not interested in trading back. Let's continue to make these last two picks and see where it all shakes out. Man, Rylie Mills has still been falling this far. That really does surprise me. Jamari Caldwell is another guy that I really do like. Man, and then again, when we look at tight end, Jake Brenningstool is still available, if I can pronounce his name correctly. Not looking at a running back anymore, but hey, Jack Beck is a guy that I think could, do really well here in Denver. Man, there's still a lot of great wide receivers, which is nice to see, but I can't overlook what's going on the defensive line right now. Let's go ahead and yeah, how about getting Rylie Mills here, help bolster up our defensive line, and then lastly, this is where things get interesting. Do we go back to that well again? Personally, I don't think he'll be available here, but at pick 203, this is a guy that I really like. Double-digit sacks this year at Miami. You can never have too many edge rushers. Let's go with Tyler Barron as well to round out the mock draft. So that's how I did. I ended up in true Denver Broncos fashion, avoiding drafting offensive linemen. It's funny how it all shakes out, but pretty happy with what we did here. Again, traded back, got an extra pick in the 5th round, which was helpful. We didn't have any 7th round picks this year, so had 3 6th round picks. And I think that this is a really solid start. If again, who knows where some of these guys will be drafted as the pre-draft season kicks off. I could definitely see Cam Skattebo rising up and Tyler Barron falling past 200. I just don't know if that's going to be possible. Again, I feel like we might need to, trade up from at the very least get into the teens to select somebody like Tyler Warren. But y'all let me know what you thought about this. What would you have changed? What would you have done differently? Please let me know. Smash that like and subscribe on the way out, guys. Go Broncos.